He accidentally ended up in the alien woman's bed. What happened next changed everything. The accidental intrusion. The universe had a twisted sense of humor, Marcus Chen decided, as purple sparks faded around him and he found himself sprawling onto something soft and decidedly not the cargo deck where he'd been standing 3 seconds ago. "What in the 7 moons?" a melodious voice exclaimed. Marcus scrambled upright, his heart hammering as he took in his surroundings. He was in someone's private quarters, luxuriously appointed with flowing fabrics in deep blues and silvers that seemed to shimmer with their own light. And standing before him, wrapped in a sleeping robe that revealed the graceful curves of her form, was the most stunning woman he'd ever seen. Her skin held an opalescent quality, shifting between pearl and lavender in the soft lighting. Dark hair cascaded past her shoulders, and her eyes, those remarkable amber eyes, studied him with a mixture of surprise and curiosity rather than the anger he'd expected. "I am so sorry," Marcus stammered, backing toward the door. "Transporter malfunction. I was supposed to materialize in Section C. Not, I didn't mean to, I should go." "Wait." The woman held up one elegant hand, a smile playing at her lips. "You're the engineer who's been crawling through the maintenance shafts fixing the quantum relays, aren't you?" "Marcus." He blinked. "You know my name. Your reputation precedes you. I'm Zara Velith." She gestured to a seating area near the viewport where stars streamed past. "Since you're already here, and since the transporters are clearly still malfunctioning, perhaps you should sit before you accidentally materialize somewhere even more awkward." Marcus felt his face burning. "I really should report this." And spend the next hour filling out incident reports while standing in a corridor. Zara moved to an elegant cabinet, retrieving 2 delicate cups. "Or you could sit, drink some tea, and wait for your systems to reset. I promise I don't bite." Something in her warm tone made Marcus's panic subside. He found himself sitting across from her, acutely aware of how his grease-stained work uniform contrasted with her refined elegance. "I apologize for the intrusion, Ambassador Velith." "Just Zara, please." She poured amber liquid that smelled like starflowers. "And honestly, this is the most interesting thing that's happened to me in months." Unexpected connection. The tea tasted like nothing Marcus had ever experienced, sweet with hints of something he couldn't identify, warming him from the inside. Zara settled into her chair with fluid grace, tucking her legs beneath her, and Marcus tried not to notice how the soft lighting made her skin seem to glow. "So," she said, her amber eyes twinkling with amusement, "do you make a habit of appearing in women's bedrooms unannounced, or am I special?" Marcus nearly choked on his tea. "Definitely not a habit. I'm usually much better at knowing where I am." "A shame. You might have more interesting stories." She leaned forward slightly. "Tell me, Marcus Chen, what does a maintenance engineer dream about when he's not fixing quantum relays?" The question caught him off guard. People rarely asked him about anything beyond his work. I want to design ships someday. Not just fix them. Create something that makes deep space feel less like exile and more like home." Zara's expression softened. "You feel exiled out here?" "Sometimes. Don't you?" He met her gaze, emboldened by her genuine interest. "All this traveling, never settling anywhere. It's lonely, isn't it?" For a moment, something vulnerable flickered across her features. "More than anyone realizes. A diplomat is always surrounded by people yet perpetually alone. Every conversation is measured, every word weighed for political implications. I can't remember the last time someone asked what I actually wanted." "What do you want?" Marcus asked softly. Zara stood, moving to the viewport. The starlight illuminated her profile, and Marcus found himself rising to join her, drawn by an invisible thread. "I want something real," she whispered. "Something that's mine, not arranged or negotiated or part of some greater political strategy." They stood shoulder to shoulder, close enough that Marcus could feel the warmth radiating from her. His hand rested on the viewport frame, and Zara's fingers moved to rest beside his, their smallest fingers barely touching. "How long until the transporters reset?" Zara asked, not moving away. Marcus checked his wrist display, his pulse quickening. Another 2 hours, at least. Good. She turned to face him, and the space between them felt charged with possibility. Then tell me everything, Marcus. And I'll tell you everything too. Just for tonight, let's not be a diplomat and an engineer. Let's just be two people who accidentally found each other. The midnight confession. The ship's alert chimed softly, interrupting Marcus mid-sentence as he described his childhood dream of touching the stars. Red emergency lighting flickered on, bathing Zara's quarters in a crimson glow. Attention all personnel. Minor security breach detected. Lockdown protocols engaging. All crew and passengers remain in current locations. Marcus moved toward the door instinctively, but it had already sealed. He turned to find Zara watching him, an unreadable expression on her face. Looks like the universe is conspiring to keep you here, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I should try to override. Marcus. She crossed to him, close enough that he could see the flecks of gold in her amber eyes. Do you want to leave? His breath caught. Every protocol said he should. Every rational thought screamed about impropriety and consequences. But standing here, with this extraordinary woman looking at him like he mattered, like he was more than just another crew member. No, he admitted. I don't. Zara reached up, her fingertips grazing his jawline with feather-like touch. I'm engaged, you know. To be married in 6 months. A strategic alliance between my world and the Terran colonies. The revelation hit Marcus like a physical blow, but Zara continued, her hand now resting against his chest, surely feeling his racing heartbeat. I've never met him. Our marriage was arranged before I was born. And in 6 months, I'll smile at the ceremony, play my part perfectly, and spend the rest of my life wondering what it might have felt like to choose someone for myself. Zara. Marcus covered her hand with his own. We can't. I know what we can't do, she interrupted, her eyes glistening. I know all the reasons this is impossible. But right now, in this moment, we're locked in here together, and for once in my carefully controlled life, I don't want to think about tomorrow. I just want to feel something real. Marcus cupped her face gently, his thumbs brushing away tears that had begun to fall. You deserve more than stolen moments. You deserve someone who can give you everything. Then give me tonight, Zara breathed, rising on her toes to close the distance between them. Give me something beautiful to remember when I'm living someone else's life. Their lips met softly at first, tentative and questioning. But when Zara's arms wrapped around his neck and Marcus pulled her closer, the kiss deepened into something that felt like falling and flying simultaneously. She tasted like starflowers and possibility, and Marcus poured every unspoken feeling into the embrace. When they finally broke apart, both breathless, Zara rested her forehead against his Dawn's complications. Morning light filtered through the viewport in shades of gold and amber as the ship's artificial dawn cycle began. Marcus stirred, finding himself on the cushioned seating near the window. Zara nestled against his chest, her hair spilling across his shoulder like silk. They'd talked through the night, really talked, between tender kisses and whispered confessions. They'd shared dreams and fears, mapped constellations on each other's skin with gentle fingertips, and fallen asleep wrapped in each other's arms as the lockdown finally lifted near dawn. Now, reality pressed in with the morning light. Zara's eyes fluttered open, those remarkable amber depths focusing on his face. For a heartbeat, she smiled, pure and unguarded. Then memory returned, and Marcus watched the walls rebuild themselves behind her gaze. The summit, she whispered. I have to prepare. I know. Marcus brushed a strand of hair from her face, committing every detail to memory. And I have a discipline hearing about the transporter incident. They sat up slowly, neither wanting to break contact. Zara's hand found his, fingers intertwining. This was supposed to be simple, she said, her voice trembling. One night. A beautiful accident. So why does leaving feel impossible? Marcus turned to face her fully, taking both her hands in his. Because it was real, Zara. Everything you wanted, this was real. Tears slipped down her cheeks. But reality is waiting outside that door. My delegation leaves in 4 hours. I'll go to the summit, smile for the cameras, and finalize wedding arrangements with a man whose face I've only seen in holos. Then don't go. The words escaped before Marcus could stop them. Or go, but come back. Meet me somewhere. Anywhere. I'll find a way. Marcus, I'm an Avarian diplomat. You're a maintenance engineer. Our worlds couldn't be more different. Our worlds met last night, he countered, pulling her close. In this room, none of that mattered. You weren't a diplomat, and I wasn't just an engineer. We were just us. Zara kissed him then, desperate and deep, as if she could pour all her longing into this one moment. Marcus responded in kind, his hands tangling in her hair, trying to memorize the taste of her, the feel of her against him. When they finally parted, both breathing hard, Zara pressed something into his palm, a small crystal pendant that had hung around her neck. The observatory on Deck 7, she whispered urgently. In 2 hours, before my transport departs. If you can get there. I'll be there, Marcus promised, closing his fingers around the crystal. I don't care what it costs. They stole one more kiss before the chime at her door announced her attendant's arrival. Marcus slipped into the washroom while Zara composed herself, and when he finally left her quarters through a service entrance, the crystal felt like it was burning against his palm. 2 hours. He had 2 hours to decide if he was brave enough to fight for something that had started as an accident but felt like destiny. The choice that defines everything. The observatory on Deck 7 was empty when Marcus arrived, his heart pounding from the sprint through the ship's corridors. He'd filed his incident report, accepted a formal reprimand without really hearing it, and spent the last hour planning something completely insane. The vast curved windows displayed the station where Zara's summit was being held, a glittering structure against the void, their destination in less than an hour. You came. Marcus turned to find Zara standing in the doorway, no longer in her sleeping robe but dressed in the formal regalia of her office, flowing robes in deep purple, her hair arranged in an intricate style, every inch the diplomat. Yet her eyes held the same vulnerability from the night before. I'll always come for you, Marcus said simply. Zara crossed to him quickly, and he caught her in his arms. I can't do it, Marcus. I stood in my quarters this morning, preparing for my duty, and all I could think about was your smile, your laugh, the way you see me as just Zara. Then don't do it. Choose something different. It's not that simple. My entire world is counting on this alliance. Is your entire world counting on you being miserable? Marcus cupped her face gently. Zara, I don't have wealth or status. I can't offer you palaces or political power. But I can offer you a choice. I can offer you real. Tears streamed down her face. If I refuse this marriage, I'll lose everything. My position, my family's approval, my home. But you'd have yourself, Marcus interrupted softly. And if you wanted, you'd have me. I got a message this morning. There's a design firm on the Arcturus colonies looking for engineers. It's not glamorous, but it's a start. We could go there. Build something new together. You'd give up your position here? For me. Zara, this position is just a job. Marcus took a shaky breath. Last night, for the first time in my life, I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Not because of where we were, but because of who I was with. I'm not letting that go without fighting for it. The ship's intercom crackled. Final boarding call for Diplomatic Transport 7. Ambassador Velith, please proceed to Bay 4. Zara looked between Marcus and the door, her whole body trembling. They are waiting for me. My attendants, my delegation, my fiancé's family. I'm waiting for you too, Marcus said, pulling a data pad from his pocket. 1 ticket to Arcturus. Leaves in 3 hours from a different bay. No announcements, no escorts, just freedom. It's yours if you want it. He set the pad on the console between them and stepped back, giving her space. I won't pressure you, Zara. This has to be your choice. But know that whatever you decide, last night changed my life. You changed my life. For a long moment, Zara stood frozen, staring at the data pad. Then she reached up, removed the ornate pins from her hair, letting it fall loose around her shoulders. One by one, she stripped away the symbols of her office, the ceremonial sash, the formal jewelry, until she stood before him as simply Zara. "I choose real," she whispered, reaching for his hand. "I choose you. I choose us." Marcus pulled her into his arms, kissing her with all the joy and relief flooding through him. When they broke apart, both laughing through tears, Zara picked up the datapad. "Arcturus," she said, a smile breaking across her face like sunrise. "I've never been. Tell me about it." "I'll do better than that," Marcus promised, lacing his fingers through hers as they headed toward the door. "I'll show you. We'll build a life there together, design it from scratch, exactly how we want it." As they left the observatory, Zara paused, looking back at the station where her old life waited. Then she squeezed Marcus's hand and turned away, choosing the unknown future over the predetermined past. "No regrets?" Marcus asked softly. Zara lifted his hand to her lips, kissing his knuckles tenderly. "The only thing I'd regret is wondering what if for the rest of my life. This is worth everything." They walked toward the departure bay together, two souls who'd found each other by accident and chosen each other on purpose, ready to write their own story among the stars. Lessons from the stars. Love arrives unannounced in our lives, often when we least expect it, reminding us that the most beautiful destinations are rarely the ones we planned. True courage isn't following the path laid out for us, but choosing the uncertain journey that sets our hearts free. In a universe of infinite distances, the bravest thing we can do is close the gap between who we're expected to be and who we truly are. Real love asks us to risk everything familiar for something authentic, proving that sometimes the greatest adventure is simply choosing each other.